Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a continuation of our Android tip calculator tutorial series. So right now this is what we have. We have basic calculation here, summation, addition, and that works just fine, as you can see. The problem is right here we have a tip percentage. This is a tip calculator after all, and that does absolutely nothing. We're not calculating the tip right now. So let's go ahead and calculate the tip. So let's go to the activity layout and take a look at it, because we're going to need to give ourselves access to certain UI elements from here. Okay, so for now we're going to use this edit text right here and this SeekBar right here. And you can look up their IDs. This one is called tip%, the edit text, and the SeekBar is called tip slider. Also, you'll notice that select all on focus is true for this tip% edit text. I think when I made the video earlier, when we made the UI layout, I neglected to make sure select all on focus is true. I did it for all the other edit texts. For some reason, I didn't add it for this one. So just make sure that select all on focus is true for this edit text. But anyway, let's go back to main activity and start coding. So there's three things that we want to use for this video. Let's create a double called tip% value. This will be a double that holds the value of the tip inside our code. Next we want a, let's say, an edit text. And we'll just use the same name as we did in the UI layout, as per usual. And finally, we need a SeekBar, and we'll call it tip slider again, same as in the UI. You'll need to import the SeekBar code, so do so with Eclipse, right there. And now let's assign some values down here. The default is 15%, so tip% value will, again, that's the double. It'll start at 0.15. when the app is started. And let's go ahead and give ourselves access to the UI elements using the same strategy we've always been using, find view by ID. So tip% is an edit text, and we find view using the r.id.tip%, and tip slider is a SeekBar, and again we do that. And now we have access to what we need to have access to. Did I have a typo? Tip%, spell that correctly. Okay, now that we have access to these two UI elements, we can start coding. So you already know what an on-click listener is, and you know what an on-focus change listener is. We're going to add another listener to main activity. We're going to get a listener that is able to listen to changes in SeekBars, which is different from these other things. And that is called, as you may be able to guess, OnSeekBarChangeListener. I can't remember if I've said this before, but by default you hit Control Space after you've only typed out a part of a method or some other keyword. You can hit that, Control Space, it'll show you possible ways to finish that keyword. So on SeekBarChangeListener, let's go ahead, hover over main activity and implement the unimplemented methods. They're all the way down here. So it has a bunch of methods, it has three that we have to implement. So for the first, or for the bottom two, onStartTrackingTouch method and onStopTrackingTouch method, just have nothing right there. We don't need those to do anything. The only thing we need to worry about is onProgress change. This is a method that is run whenever the computer detects that a SeekBar has changed. A SeekBar that the main activity is listening to has changed. It takes three arguments, and these are again passed automatically to it by the computer every time something, or every time a SeekBar is changed. The first is the SeekBar that was changed. The second is the progress. as an integer, and the progress is simply where or how far along the little slider thing is within the SeekBar. So like if we set ours to go from 0 to 50, so if it was at 50, it would be 50. If it was at 0, it would be 0. You know, that's how that works. And then it has a boolean for the third argument called from user, and that basically just, if it's true, or if the user changed the SeekBar, then it'll set the from user will be true, and if it was not the user that changed it, if it was the programming code itself, because the app itself can change the SeekBar with something like setProgress, then the boolean from user will be false. So if you change it, if the app creator changes the SeekBar, this will be false. If the user changes the SeekBar with his hand, then it'll be true. Okay, great. Before we write the code for that, let's make sure we're listening to TipSlider. So go here, TipSlider.set on SeekBarChangeListener. You don't always have to hit Control Space. Sometimes if you wait a while, it'll do it automatically. Again, main activity is the thing that's listening to it. So great. Okay, so what do we want the code here to be? Well, let's go and do what we always do. First of all, let's check. Just like up here with the OnSeekBarChangeListener, we have to check what the view was. In this case, what the SeekBar was. So if SeekBar is equal to TipSlider, so that's the slider that we want to use. And moreover, if from user is true. So what does this mean? Well, the first one is what we always do. We check if it was TipSlider that was changed. If it is, that's a code we want to run for this block. And we want to make sure that the user changed the TipSlider, not us, not the programmer, not the code or the app itself. Okay, so what happens? Oh, and you'll notice that we only have one SeekBar in our entire app, so you technically do not need to have this line here, or at least this part of the conditional. But it's a good habit to get into, and it matches the structure of our other listening methods, so I have it there. Okay, so we now, within this block, it runs whenever we know that the TipSlider changed, and it was the user that changed it. So what do we want to happen? Well, let's do this. Let's set the tip% value, which again is our double, and we'll set it equal to the progress of SeekBar. And again, progress is just where it is, and the getProgress method, when used on a SeekBar, it'll just get the value of the progress. Once we have that, let's go ahead and set the text here to a correct amount. So tip%, again, that's the name of our edit text, .setText. And what will we set it to? We'll use the string.format method like before. Can't find it, so I'll just type it out manually. String.format, again, we need rules, so let's have commas in it, even though the percent will probably never get that high. In fact, since it never get that high, no, let's just include it. Yeah, why not? Okay, percent, comma, let's have 0 decimal places, and it'll be a floating point. And the thing that we are formatting is tip% value. And we'll also add a % sign at the end of it. And you know what? We do not need the comma things, because we're not going to have tip% that are in the thousands. So that's totally unnecessary. So we just need the 0.0 to say 0 decimal places, and the F to mean it's a floating point type number. Okay, with that done, we need to do one more thing, and that is this. We have to set per tip% value equal to itself divided by 100 here. Why is that? Well, getProgress gives us an integer, as you can see. So again, if the SeekBar was at, say, 15, the progress was 15, we would be setting tip% value equal to 15 here. And then we want the text to say 15%, so that's fine. But at the end of it, we want tip% value to go back to being a percent rather than a whole number. So if we have 15 right here, we have to divide it by 100 so that we have 0.15 instead of 15. Yeah, so that's why we do that. So let's run the code to test and see what we've got going so far. This is my Samsung phone, by the way, if you're wondering. But you can't see that, so let's use the AVD. And hopefully I have not been talking too fast in these tutorials. I've been sort of rushing lately. Okay, let's move this around. We have an issue. Let's go back. What is going on here? Oh, sorry, I forgot. If you want to get rid of the comma, that's fine. Just don't have the comma in there, but make sure you start off with a % sign. That's always necessary. So I apologize. Now you guys have to wait even longer. My bad. Okay, let's go back to this, see how long it's going to take. Any second now. There we go. Okay, let's move this thing along here, and as you can see, the value inside this edit text will change based on how where we move this thing. The highest is 50, the lowest is 0, and it started off at 15%. Now you'll notice though that if we change, or if we put some numbers in there, well, first of all, you'll notice that the value here does not change. It stays at $0. And what's more, it does not add the actual percent to the $50 here. It just says $50. And that's because we haven't actually wrote the code to calculate the tip on top of the pre-tip bill. So that's what we'll be doing in the next few videos. So I'll see you guys next time.